honor to be in this space filling in for Stan today. I did tell him he could stay, but he insisted on leaving, so no. As we get into the message today, we're continuing our sermon series, Behind the Lyrics, where we're looking at some of our favorite hymns and songs in the church and looking at what they speak to us about our faith and how we wrestle with the mysteries of this life. And as Donna read, we are going to go to one of the older hymns. We're taking it really old school today, from the original hymn book of God's people to the Psalms. And looking at Psalm 23, a pretty familiar psalm to many of us. Before we dive in, though, I have an important question for you. And that is, how fast do you drive? How fast do you drive when you get in your car? Now, this is not meant to be rhetorical, so I do want to see a show of hands here. How many of you drive under the speed limit? Okay, a couple. Now, how many of you right at the speed limit? You are a rule follower? Okay, much more. Yes. You might be like me at this season in life. I'm having to wear my glasses more often in the car so I can see the signs as they zoom by. So I have made sure to go a little bit slower. But how many of you, when you get in the car, when those sunglasses go on, when the windows are down or the AC is all the way up, do you all of a sudden turn into like a NASCAR Formula One racer? Much more people. We feel a need for speed. In fact, this is not just true of Dallas roadways, though many of us have experienced the need for speed on Central and I-35 and all over this city. But it's a state of constant action in our whole country. In fact, most people admit to speeding on a regular basis. One study in 2021 had people admitting that 50% of the time they drive 10 to 15 miles per hour over the speed limit. And every year, about approximately 34 million speeding tickets are given out across the U.S. Now, various research done by various groups and departments of transportation report that anytime speed limits are changed to help kind of balance the speed, it actually increases everybody's speed, and it doesn't actually work. That people have such a drive to speed, to go fast, that they're constantly upping and upping their speed. And did you know that speeding tickets account for most revenue that comes into a city every single year? The price we pay to speed is funding our city. Now, we have a need for speed, but most of us realize that speeding is not always the best thing for us. In fact, when you speed, the likelihood of getting into an accident increases exponentially. And part of that is because once the rate of your driving increases, what also needs to increase is the space at which you drive behind cars so that when you stop, you have enough space to come to a stop. However, most of us don't get any further away from the vehicle in front of us, increasing our risk. And then speeding is proven to encourage other bad practices. So if you're willing to take the risk of speeding, you're willing also to oftentimes look at your text or to be a distracted driver. And then the faster you drive, there's more visual information that you're taking in, which for most people creates this sort of tunnel vision effect, which impairs your depth perception.